again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes and arachnids. Fiber Spider here with another tutorial just for you. And today I am proud to present to you a pattern that I created that I call the Herringbone Lace Shawl. Very, very pleased, and I really hope that you guys like it too. And I also want to give a big, big thank you to Lion Brand for sponsoring today's video. And I used, for this particular project, I used Lion Brand's Pound of Love. It is one of my go-to favorites, especially because I love the yardage and the selection of colors I love. Now, this is the olive colorway. Today, however, we are going to be using the antique white. And as far as the specifications, it is 16 ounces. Yes, it is a pound. And it is over 1,000 yards. It is a weight of 4, and it is an acrylic yarn. Now, the recommended needle size for the yarn is about an 8. Me, I have a tendency of knitting tightly. So, for my project, I used a size 10 or a 6 millimeter size knitting needle, and I'm using circulars today. These are my Chow-Goos. And also, the pattern for this is going to be available on my Etsy store. So there's going to be a link to that in the description box down below, as well as all of the timestamps. And as far as the pattern goes, I want to give a big, big, big thank you to my testers for helping make this possible. You guys rock, and I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so very much. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? All right, so we're going to start with the casting on. And so we need a slip knot. And you can use the long tail cast on if you so choose. Me, personally, I like the knitted cast on. And we only need to do a total of 4 cast on stitches. So after putting on my slip knot, going in as if to knit, wrap the yarn around, pull a loop up, and then go around and in and cinch. We just need 2 more, real simple. Okay, 1 more. There we go. And that is all you need for the cast on, because we're starting from the bottom tip and we're going to be working our way up to the neckline. So really, you can make this as large or as small as you want to by, keep going with the repeats once we get to them. But yeah, we're just going to start at the very, very bottom. This is also why, because we're going to be working back and forth from the bottom up, that I like to do a solid color of yarn. If you use one that has color changes, you're going to have horizontal stripes. If that's what you're going for, okay, but for this particular pattern, I really like a nice solid color so that the focus is on the beautiful lace work that you're going to be creating. So let's move on to row 1. Okay, so row 1 and every odd numbered row for the entire project is going to be all purl stitches. So every other row, you get sort of a little mini vacation. So for the purling, going in through the front there, wrap the yarn around, and pull up a loop, and off. Through the front, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, and off. Through the front, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, and off. Through the front, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, and off. And that's all there is to it. And so I'm only going to be doing row 1 on camera because, like I said, every odd numbered row, it's just purl stitches. And so let's move on to the beginning of the actual pattern with row 2. Okay, row 2, very, very simple. Also, before you actually start, make sure that you're working with your working yarn and not with your tail. Otherwise, yes, you're going to run into some problems and you won't be able to get very far. Trust me, I've done this myself plenty of times. So, for row 2, going to go in and knit the first 2 stitches. Then yarn over. So we're wrapping the yarn from around the back to the front. And this is how we're going to create our eyelets for the piece. So you're yarning over, and then knit the next 2 stitches. Knit and knit. And that's all there is to it. And so this middle stitch right here, that is our eyelet, and it will become more apparent as we keep going. Now for row 3, just purl your way back. In fact, you know what? I'm going to show you row 3 just because. So let's do that right now, shall we? Just need to get myself resituated because I'm using a rather long cable on my circulars here. Okay, here we go. So yes, right now we are on the purl side. You can see these little purl bumps. So scooting in through the front, pull up a loop, and off through the front, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, and off. And these eyelet yarn overs that we're dealing with, you treat them just like any other stitch. You want to be a little bit careful with them so that they do not fall off of your needle, but you treat them just like any other stitch. That's why I wanted to do this row on camera for you. But after this, yeah, I think you guys got it. And there you are. So that is the end of row 3, and we shall move on to row 4. And so I just want to show you what the front looks like real quick. Get you out of the way, thank you. And so yeah, right now we have 1 eyelet ready to go right there. So let's proceed on with row 4. Okay, row 4. This is where we're going to actually start to incorporate the eyelets that are going to run up each side. So to do that, we're going to knit 2, yarn over, knit this middle one, yarn over, and knit 2, because we need some symmetry along the edges. So knit these first 2. So knit 1 and 2, yarn over. Okay, then knit this middle stitch where we had the yarn over previously. Then yarn over again, and then knit the last 2 stitches. Alrighty, and you know what to do. Row 5, just purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you for row 6. Alright, so row 6, we're going to be essentially following suit with what we did previously, and so basically the beginning and the end of every row, it starts off with 2 knit stitches and a yarn over, and then it ends with a yarn over and 2 knit stitches, and that creates a really nice little border. So I'm going to knit the first 2, yarn over, knit the next 3 stitches, one, 2, and 3, yarn over, and knit the last 2 stitches. All right, there we are. Okay, so for row 7, just purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you for row 8. Okay, so for row 8, we're going to be following suit with what we've already been doing. Now, because right now we aren't actually into the herringbone aspect of it just yet, the only eyelets that we have are on the edges here, and basically they are the eyelets that are going to help us with increasing the size of our shawl. When we start using eyelets in between, well, for every eyelet you need a decrease to sort of compensate and regulate the growth of the sides of the shawl. This will make more sense as we keep going, but right now we're going to be following suit with what we did for the previous pattern row. We're going to knit the first 2, yarn over, knit our way across, yarn over, knit the last 2. So far, it's pretty easy. And as far as the decreases that we use later, we will get to that. So knit these first 2, yarn over, then knit the next 5 stitches, one, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over and knit the last 2 stitches. All right, there we are. And as per usual, for row 9, just purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you for row 10. Okay, row 10. This is where we're going to start introducing our decreases because, excuse me, we're going to be introducing additional eyelets aside from the 2 on either side. And so because we're introducing new eyelets, and that is construed as an increase of a stitch, yes, we need to decrease, and we're going to be doing that in the very middle with what I call a central double decrease. We will get there, do not worry. Also, I would strongly suggest watch me do it first before trying to do it yourself, perhaps more than once, because it's a lot easier to watch and, take it in as opposed to trying to do it and then having to, frog some stitches, which is never fun. So watch me first. All right, so we're going to start off by knitting the first 2 and yarning over just as we have been. So knit 2. And yarn over. That's not new. We've done that. And then knit 1 stitch. Okay. And then we yarn over again, actually. So yarn over again, knit 1 stitch, all right, and then we're going to introduce the double decrease, and that is going to affect these next 3 stitches. We're going to turn these 3 into 1. So to do that, slip this first stitch as if to purl, then knit the next 2 stitches together. So going in as if to knit them. There we go. And we're going to knit those 2 together. Don't worry about this slipped stitch just yet. We'll get there. So after we go into those 2 stitches, we knit them together and off. And then this slip stitch, we bring it up over the right hand needle and off. So those 3 stitches became 1 stitch. Now the reason why I do the central double decrease is because it doesn't lean to one or the other side of the piece. We will get to that as well. So we did our central double decrease. Now we need to do what we just did over here, but in reverse. So knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, and knit the last 2 stitches. Now, I understand perfectly well this may not look like much right now, but as we keep going, it will make more sense. Trust me. So for row 11, just purl your way back across, and I will see you for row 12. Okay, so row 12, we're going to be doing essentially the same thing as far as the different kinds of stitches that we use. Now over here, we have this little guy right here, and we have this little guy right here. Those 2 stitches are going to grow outwards. This shape in between is going to shrink inwards while these grow outwards, and so it's all about equilibrium. And because we're still incorporating this eyelet and this eyelet, we still need the double decrease in the middle. So let's get to it, shall we? See, for me, it's not just about telling you, all right, this is the stitch that you have to do. I also like to try to explain why we are doing what we are doing so that it makes more sense and is a little less scary, because this is an intermediate kind of design here. So I'm going to knit the first 2 stitches as per usual. And yarn over. And then we're going to be knitting these next 3 stitches because we went from 1 and it's going to go up to 3. So after yarning over, knit these next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and we're separating these shapes with eyelets, so yarn over. Now we do the central double decrease with these 3 stitches. So again, we need to slip the first stitch as if to purl, knit these next 2 stitches together. Now, don't worry about the fact that we're currently in the middle of a yarn over. It's fine. Just watch me and go slow. So going in through these 2 to knit them together. Now, what I like to do is I like to sort of position my yarn so that it is nice and where it needs to be. Then we knit these two together and then pass that slip stitch up, over, and off. And there you go. So we have our eyelet right next to the decrease. Okay, then we have to do what we did in reverse. So yarn over, knit the next 3. One, 2, 3. Yarn over and knit the last 2. Okie dokie. So for row 13, purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you for row 14. Okay, row 14. Row 14, we're going to be introducing a new decrease. Now, the nice thing about this pattern is that we don't have multiple different kinds of decreases on the same row. It's just, at one point, we're just working with central double decreases. Another, we're going to be dealing with the left-leaning decreases, which is an SKP, which is a slip knit pass, or a K2 tog, which is a knit 2 together, which is a right-leaning decrease. Right now, we're just going to be dealing with the left-leaning decreases. So it sort of minimizes the confusion, but don't worry, like I keep saying, we will get there. So for right now, we need to deal with the edge here. So knit 2 and yarn over, just as we have been doing. So knit these first 2 and yarn over and knit the next 5 stitches. So got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then from here, going to yarn over and do a slip knit pass. So to do that, first yarn over, like so, and then it's these 2 stitches that we're going to be working with. So it is a slip, as if to purl, knit the next stitch, and again, I like to get my yarn sort of situated with the yarn over. So knit this next stitch, and then take that slip stitch and pass it over the needle. So that's our decrease for this row. All right, and then going to knit the next 4 stitches. Now you might be wondering, all right, why only 4? Because we did 5 over here and it's all about symmetry, right? Well, this slip knit pass stitch that we did counts as a stitch. So that's 1, and then we've got 4 more, so that's a total of 5. So there is a method to the madness. So knit these next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have our edge, which is a yarn over and knit the last 2 stitches. And there you go. Okay. And then purl your way back across for row 15, and I will meet back up with you. Okay, row 16, we're going to be doing a little bit more of the same, but we're also going to be introducing a new eyelet because this shape down here, well, it's finished, and we have our eyelet at the top of it, and so we need to incorporate a new shape over on this side because our decreases are going to the left here. As you can see, it's sort of slanted. That is the SKP in action right there. So because it's going to the left, it's on the right side that we need to introduce a new shape, okay? So going to do our usual knit 2 and yarn over for the edge, just as we have been. Knit 2. And yarn over. Now from here, we need to knit 1, yarn over, and do another SKP. So we yarned over. So right now, going to knit 1, yarn over again, and introduce the SKP. So that's the slip as if to purl, knit the next stitch, and pass the slip stitch up, over, and off. And then knit the remaining 4 stitches of this particular shape. So knit these 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then we have this eyelet down here, and we need to have it continue to keep going to the left. So yarn over, another slip knit pass. So after the yarn over, we slip as if to purl, knit the next stitch, and grab that passed slip stitch up, over, and off. There we go. And then, again, knit the remaining 4 stitches of this shape. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then, as per usual, yarn over and knit those last 2 stitches. And there you go. So for row 17, purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you. Okay, row 18. Now at this point, you might start to see where it is that we're going, because this ridge is definitely much more defined. And yes, this shape is going off to the left. This one's going off to the left. And we need to have this little guy right here start growing up. So going to do our edge stitches as per usual. So knit those first 2 stitches and add a yarn over for the edging. So knit and knit, yarn over, then knit these next 3 stitches, building up this new shape. So knit 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, and then we need to incorporate another eyelet, but then do the decrease immediately thereafter. So yarn over, then another slip knit pass. So slip as if to purl, knit this next stitch here, and pass that slip stitch up, over, and off. And that counts as our first stitch towards the total of 5, so that's the 1. Then we need to knit the next 4 stitches. So knit them and then repeat the process. So knit these next 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have to shift this eyelet over to the left. So yarn over for the eyelet and then decrease with a slip as if to purl. Knit the next stitch and pass the slip stitch up, over, and off. There we go. The bottom of my shawl is trying to get into frame. I apologize if it's messing around with the focus. So we did our yarn over and our slip knit pass, then knit the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finish off this edge with a yarn over and knit the last 2 stitches. And that, my dears, is the end of row 18. For row 19, purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you. Okay, row 20, I think you might find it fairly easy because we're just going to be continuing doing what we have been doing on this side just as we have, and then for here we're going to go from 3 stitches up to 5 for this little shape right here that is growing nicely. So start off by knitting 2 and yarning over just as usual. Knit 2, yarn over, knit the next 5 stitches, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. Okay, and then we start in with our shifting. So yarn over and slip knit pass for the decrease. So I got the yarn over, slip as if to purl, knit that next stitch, and pass the slip stitch up, over, and off. So that counts as our first stitch. We need to do the next 4 for the total of 5. So I've got that one. Knit 4. One, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over, slip as if to purl, knit that next stitch, pass the slip stitch up, over, and off. That is our first of the 5. So we need to knit 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then to finish up our edge, yarn over and knit the last 2. And there you go. So for row 21, purl your way back across, and I will meet back up with you. Okay, row 22. So for row 22, we're going to be doing what we did down here previously with the central double decreases, while also introducing new shapes to the mix. Don't worry, we're going to go slow and get through it. So, as per usual, going to start off with my edging of knit 2 and yarn over. Knit 2. And yarn over. All right. Then going to knit this one stitch right here. Okay. And then going to start in with the process of beginning the double decrease. We're prepping it. So we're going to yarn over, knit 1, and then the central double decrease. So that is again slip as if to purl, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch up, over, and off. Okay. Then going to knit 1, yarn over, and knit 1. So knit 1, yarn over, and knit 1. And this last knit 1 is sort of like this one right here, because it's going to be the beginning of a new shape right here. So to continue on, we're going to basically repeat the yarn over, knit 1, central double decrease, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1. Don't worry, we're going to go through this together. So yarn over and knit 1, central double decrease, slip, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch up, over, and off, then knit 1, yarn over, knit 1. So knit, yarn over, and knit 1. And that's the beginning of a new shape, that last knit stitch that we just did. So to continue on, yarn over, knit 1, central double decrease, so slip as if to purl, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch that we did up, over, and off. Okay. And then knit 1, yarn over, knit 1. Knit 1, yarn over, and knit 1. And then finishing up the edging just as we've always done by yarning over and knitting the last 2 stitches. So again, there are technically 3 different types of decreases in this project, but we only use 1 at a time on any given row. So that is the end of row 22. Purl your way back across for row 23, and I will meet back up with you for row 24. Okay, row 24. So row 24, we're going to be building up these single little stitches for the new shapes, and we're going to be polishing off the existing shapes by decreasing them even further. Again, just like we did with this shape down here. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so to begin with, our edge, knit 2 and yarn over. Knit 2 and yarn over. Now we're going to knit these next 3 stitches to build up the new shapes. So knit these next 3. It's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then yarn over again. And we're going to be dealing with these 3 stitches, and we're going to do the central double decrease once again. So don't forget we did our yarn over just now. So now we need to slip, knit 2 together, and pass. So slip as if to purl, knit the next 2 stitches together, and pass the slip stitch up, over, and off. Very nice. Okay, then yarn over and knit these next 3 stitches. It's 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over and another central double decrease. And also you can see this sort of little nub in the middle, which is a great way of recognizing, yep, it's this middle stitch that is the center of these 3 that we need to work with. So after doing our yarn over, going to slip as if to purl, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch up, over, and off. There we go. Then again, yarn over, knit these next 3 stitches to increase the shape. 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, going to do another central double decrease. So slip as if to purl, knit 2 together, and pass the slip stitch up, over, and off. There we go. Yarn over, knit the next 3 stitches. That's 1, and that's 2, and 3, because 3rd time's a charm. There we go. Then, as per usual, finish off by yarning over and knitting the last 2 stitches. Okay, and then as per usual, for row 25, purl your way back across and I will meet back up with you. Alrighty, my dears, so that is going to conclude the first part of this tutorial series. I really hope that you're enjoying it because I am having a blast. It is so gorgeous, I can't stand it, and we've made so much progress. We went from 1 to 3 to 4 of our little shapes, and we're going to keep going in the next video where instead of going to the left, we're going to be going to the right, introducing the new decrease, the last of the 3 that we're going to be using. So again, I want to give a really big thank you to Lion Brand for sponsoring today's video. You can find a link to the yarn in the description box down below. Also, of course, as I said before, this pattern is available for sale on my Etsy store. So again, link in the description box down below. Timestamps in the description box down below as per usual. And also, again, a really big thank you to my testers for helping make this possible. So, all around, we're having a good day. Yes. So, until next time, you know what to do, right? I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, and please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now, everybody, and have a great day.